Jai Hind students, welcome to my YouTube channel. Students, never ever limit your challenges. Actually, challenge your limits. The person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. So actually, push yourself because no one else is going to do it for you. So students, don't ever limit your challenges, right? With that positive note, students, let's start today's session. Today, in this particular session, we'll be dealing with some additional questions based on kinetic energy, potential energy, power, and work, right? So let's start with the first question then. First question is, a body is thrown up with a kinetic energy of 10 joule. If it attains a maximum height of 5 meter, then we are supposed to find out the mass of the body, right? So here, the kinetic energy of the body is given. The kinetic energy of the body is given to be 10 joule, right? And maximum height attained by the body, that is given to be 5 meter. Now students, it is but obvious, when the body attains maximum height, then its entire kinetic energy is converted into potential energy. Like this is the ground. From here, the body is projected. Here the kinetic energy is maximum. Now as the body goes upwards, its speed will keep on decreasing, and eventually at the highest point, its speed will become 0. So at the highest point, students, when it attains height h of 5 meter, then all the kinetic energy initially at the ground will now get converted into potential energy. So here kinetic energy will become 0 at the highest point, while potential energy would be equal to maximum, and it will be equal to mgh. So at the highest point, the kinetic energy at the ground would be equal to the potential energy at the highest point, right? So when the body attains the maximum height, its entire kinetic energy get converted into its potential energy. That is, at the highest point, loss in kinetic energy, it would be equal to gain in potential energy. Now what is the loss in kinetic energy? That is 10 joule. What is the gain in the potential energy? It would be equal to mgh, isn't it? So it implies that mass is to be determined. M is equal to 10 divided by, let's take the value of small g as 10 only, and height it's given to be 5. So it is equal to 1 by 5 kg, that is 0.2 kg. So the mass of the body under consideration is 1 by 5 or 0.2 kg, right? Now let's concentrate on the second question, students. A lift is designed to carry a load of 4000 kg through 10 floors of a building. There are 10 floors in the building, right? Averaging 6 meter per floor, right? Each floor is 6 meter, and the lift is designed to carry a load of 4000 kg through 10 floors, averaging 6 meter per floor in 10 seconds. This is the time during which the lift is able to complete its mission. Now calculate the power of the lift. So what to do is, let's find out the total distance. Total distance covered by the lift. Total distance which the lift covers would be, how much? It is S. It is equal to, there are 10 floors. Each floor is of height 6 meter. So that will be equal to 60 meters, isn't it? And students, time in which this distance is covered. Time in which this distance is covered. It is given to be 10 seconds. T is given to be 10 seconds. Now therefore, weight of the lift. weight of the lift. Let's find out the weight of the lift, which will be equal to the force exerted by the lift. Or it is, weight is actually force. So weight of the lift is equal to the force exerted by the lift. And weight is equal to m into g, isn't it? So it is m into g. Mass is given to be 4000. G can be considered to be 10 meter per second square. So that will give us 40,000 Newton. The SI unit of weight of force is Newton. Now students, the velocity of the lift. The velocity of the lift will be given by, look, velocity is the distance covered divided by time, isn't it? This is the distance covered and 10 seconds is the time which the lift takes. So velocity of the lift would be equal to 60 by 10. So in SI, it will be 6 meter per second. Now students, we are supposed to find out the power. If we are aware of the force, if we are aware of the velocity, then power is given by force into velocity. We know that power is given by force multiplied by velocity along the direction of the force, isn't it? So what is the force? It is 40,000 Newton. What is the velocity? It is 6 meter per second. So in SI, it would be equal to 24 and there are 4 zeros. So it will be 24 into 10 raised to the power 4 watt. Or students, it can also be written as 240 into 10 raised to the power 3 watt. We are aware 10 raised to the 3 watt is kilowatt. 1 kilowatt is 1000 watt. So it can also be written as 240 kilowatt. So this is the power of the lift. Okay, let's proceed to question number 3. As per question number 3, students, a 60 kg person climbs stairs of total height 20 meter in 2 minutes. Calculate the power delivered. Now we are aware that power, it's given by the rate of doing work. That is work done divided by total time which the body takes to complete that particular work, right? So in this case, the person climbs stairs of total height of 20 meter. Now when a person raises himself through some height, then whatever amount of work is being done by the person will be stored in the person in the form of its potential energy, right? So in this case, work done is stored in the form of potential energy of the person, as per the work energy theorem, right? So in this case, whatever work is being done by the person of 60 kg in climbing the stair of total height 20 meter, it will get stored in the person in the form of its additional potential energy. So potential energy is mgh. What is the mass of the person? 60. Let's take the value of small g as 10 meter per second square, right? So m into small g is 10 into h is 20 divided by 2 minutes. So it has to be converted into seconds. This is time. Time is 2 minutes. 1 minute is 60 seconds. So it will be in joule and it will be in seconds, right? So 60 get cancelled. 2 5 are 10 and 25, that will be equal to 100. So power delivered, it will be equal to 100 joule per second. Joule per second is watt. So this is the power delivered. It is equal to 100 watt, right? Okay, let's proceed to the next question then. A light body and a heavy body means this body is having smaller mass and this body is having more mass, heavier body. They have the same kinetic energy. Which one of the two will have greater momentum? This is the term momentum which we have discussed in the previous unit, students. Momentum of a body of mass m moving with velocity v is given by the product of mass and its velocity, right? So two things must be clear. Kinetic energy, suppose it is represented by E. We are aware it's equal to half mv square. And students, momentum, it is the total amount of motion contained in the body, and it is represented by small letter p. It is given by the product of mass and the velocity of the body. Now, in order to answer this question, let's find out the relationship between the kinetic energy and the momentum, right? So, as kinetic energy, suppose it is represented by E, it is equal to half mv square. Now, what to do is, we can rearrange this term. Multiplying and dividing by m, what we get is m square v square divided by m. So what I've done over here is I've multiplied and divided by m. So here in numerator we get m square, and in denominator we'll be left with m, right? So why I'm doing is because I want to express kinetic energy in terms of the momentum. M square v square can be written like this. So that will become mv is p. So what we get is p square divided by twice m. Therefore, students, momentum is equal to twice me. Look, E is the kinetic energy. It is equal to p square by 2m. Therefore, p square would be equal to twice m into E, right? Or momentum is equal to square root of twice me. Clear, students? Now here it is given the kinetic energy is constant. Both the lighter and the heavier body possess the same kinetic energy. So as E is constant, kinetic energy for both the bodies is given to be same. That is, kinetic energy is constant. 2 is constant. Therefore, momentum is directly proportional to the square of the mass. Isn't it? So, smaller the body, lighter the body, smaller will be the momentum. And heavier the body, greater will be the momentum. So, therefore, the heavier body will have greater momentum, right? Which implies that the heavier body will possess or will have greater momentum. So what we have concluded is, if the two different bodies possess the same kinetic energy, then the momentum of body is directly proportional to the square root of its mass. So, greater the mass, more will be its momentum. Smaller the mass, lighter the body, lesser will be its momentum, right? So in this case, the heavier body will have greater momentum. Okay, students, let's concentrate on the next question, which is very, very important one related to human heart. The work done by the heart of human is 1 joule per beat, and we are aware that our human heart beats 72 times per minute. 72 times in 1 minute. 1 minute is 60 seconds. So we are supposed to find out the power of the heart. Now we are aware of this formula. Power is equal to work done, which will be in joule, divided by time taken. Isn't it? This is the formula. Now here, in 1 minute, the heart beats 72 times. And the work done by the heart per beat is 1 joule. So therefore, for 72 beats, what is the total work done? It will be equal to 72 multiplied by 1 joule. 72 multiplied by 1 is the total amount of work done by the heart in 1 minute. Clear? So divided by, what is the time we are considering? 1 minute. 1 minute is 60 seconds. So it's simple. So it will be equal to 72 divided by 60. Joule per second is watt. So it will be equal to 12 by 10. So that is equal to 1.2 watt. So students, remember this result. The power of our heart is 1.2 watt, which means that it performs 1.2 joule of work in 1 second. Clear? Okay, let's concentrate on the last question then. It is based on the law of conservation of energy. A battery lights a bulb. Okay, describe the energy changes involved in the process. We are aware, students, that total energy of a system always remain conserved, although energy can be transformed from one form into some another form. But total energy is always conserved. That is, energy can neither be created nor it can be destroyed, but it can be transformed from one form into another form. So here also the transformation of energy takes place. Basically, a battery which is a source of voltage basically, it converts chemical energy into electrical energy. And then the electrical energy is converted into light energy as the bulb is lighted up. So therefore the sequence of energy changes will be as follows. So in the battery the energy is in the form of chemical energy. So the battery, it converts chemical energy into electrical energy. It converts chemical energy into electrical energy. And the bulb, students, it converts electrical energy into light energy. So this is the transformation of the energy that takes place during the process. So I hope you have understood all the questions which we have discussed in this particular session, isn't it? So that's it for this particular session, students. We have done a large number of numericals so as to build up your confidence. So keep studying well and keep yourself very, very happy. Have that positive approach towards life always, right? Thank you. Keep watching my videos.